calm. But let's bring this back full circle, because pretty much everything we have talked about so far is how your muscle memory is developed neurologically, developing and reinforcing those pathways in the cerebellum through repetition. And many of you have likely noticed that if you've taken some time off from a specific motor skill and then you come back to it months later, and in some cases even years later, you don't start from square one. It seems to come back pretty quickly in some cases.
Right.
Like if some of you have taken an extended time away from riding a bike and then you first get on that bike, you might initially feel like, uh-oh, do I even remember how to do this? But then as you start getting going and pedaling, you start to think, oh yeah, I can do this. I remember how to do this. Or maybe you took some time off from a sport, but then you started playing again and you notice that those skills come back relatively quickly. And even with certain aspects of resistance training, part of the speed at which you regain strength can be attributed to reawakening those coordinated cerebellar pathways. But I would also argue that your nervous system has some memory of how to recruit those motor units more effectively, which also contributes to the quicker return of strength.
See, that's where we gonna end it at. So, oh, my camera went out. It's gonna come back, y'all. So when we start to learn new things, our cerebellum is the hard drive we are writing to. Oh my gosh, do you know how profound that statement is? That shows a deep understanding for what we learning here on Expansion Pack, Zanita 67. Yeah, that's exactly accurate. That's what they said. Right here on the back of your head. That's where you're writing to. And for me, it's the holding of the data. See, we used to wires, hard drives, things like that. Well, this data, sure enough, we have a brain, but this data is being held in a catch that seems to be non-physical. Anyway, learning new skills, that's what we talked about here today on DGTA TV on Expansion Pack. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I got a meeting that I have to attend in a few minutes, so I will see y'all here tomorrow on Find Your Way Wednesday. We always learning and growing, y'all. Find your root so you can grow. And I will talk to y'all later. This is DGTA TV. Peace. Success. Let's see what we got. I always scroll down, and then it'll be the same one by the time I done scroll down so far. It'll be one we already heard. Alright, let's go, y'all.
No one understands me. If I actually told people how I'm feeling, they would think of me differently. That is a lie that I told.
The rigors of academic life can be brutal. Long days of classes, long nights of studying, and low cash flow requires you to be frugal. Projects, case studies, pop quizzes, and final exams will test your morals and your scruples. But you keep pushing and pushing, because you know one day all of that hard work and studying will pay off and be fruitful.
They didn't know that you had that hustle in you. They didn't know that the beast that you were becoming, they wasn't doing anything but add more fuel to the fire. They didn't understand what it felt like to struggle. They didn't understand that the competition was you. All the haters that went against you, all the people that doubted you.
Was like, nah, bro, I can't take a beating today. So, but yeah, bro, I'm shopping computers. I'm telling you, I'm cleaning, shopping computers, because this is it. This is it. My life, my virtual life. But anyway, it's good to hear from you, Brother Reed. So the reason I chose this topic for today is because we are looking for, all right, so when the power goes out, you can't do a lot of stuff. Watch TV, listen to the radio, anything of that nature, right? So it's the same thing when you're lacking motivation. When you ain't got that motivation, you can't get up, you can't eat, you can't sleep. And so with all of those, with that going on, you can say it's kind of like an electrical circuit right there. Without it, you can't power the things that you want to do. So I think the quest should be not to be getting goals completed. It should be a quest of training your motivation, your motivational antenna. Because if you can train your motivational antenna, then you can pick up a lot more energy to do a lot more things. Now, if your emotional antenna is undisciplined, then you're going to spend a lot of time picking up a lot on that you really don't want to do. But if you discipline your emotional antenna to pick up on those things, or motivational antenna, sorry, to pick up on those things that's going to get you the outcomes that you want, drive you towards the things that you want and the things that you are trying to do, then you're going to have the energy to do a lot of the time. Just a little bit of background on why I actually chose this topic for today, because I need that plug into the motivation to get my energy towards my goals. And so I'm going to myself personally seek the motivation more so than the outcome. What is driving me? What is pushing me towards what I want to do? All right, back to it. Let's get some motivational hacks. Motivation hacks. All right, here we go. Back to it.
You know those days when you really can't be bothered to get out of bed? Which is almost like every day in social isolation when you don't have anywhere to be. And then you read those stories of those go-getters who are just so darn motivated. Like the 5 a.m. club? Do I really have to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning to be considered a success? I think I'll pass. I've had a lot of conversations about the topic of motivation. And while every person is different, there are 3 science-backed tips that everyone should know. And whether you choose to wake up at 5 a.m. or not is not a determining factor. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 simplest hacks to motivate yourself when you just can't be bothered.
Hi, I'm Sade Zarai, and I help professionals to hack their careers, overcome their limiting beliefs, and confidently create the extraordinary life they deserve.
The very first thing you need to be aware of is that motivation doesn't equal action.
Yes.
You can't just sit around thinking that you'll get a shot of motivation and then you'll go out there and do whatever it is that you want to do. Actually, it's the other way around. It's action that leads to motivation. You have to actually go out there and do the thing before you can even start to feel remotely motivated about the thing. It's a slightly different way of looking at it, isn't it? When you go out there and you do that thing, you start to see yourself doing more of that thing. You start to visualize that achieving it isn't as difficult as you may have once thought. You start to see micro improvements in the micro steps helping you get closer to your actual goal. All of these things then add to the motivation for you to continue doing it. So talking about motivation and action, you basically have 2 options at this point in time. The first option is what I just talked about. You can take action. You can choose to act right now, right here, and start that thing that you've been thinking about for so long. But now the second option is what a lot of us get stuck into, and then we wonder why we have no motivation. We start procrastinating. We start overanalyzing. We overthink. And then we come up with every possible excuse.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. It's good to be in here again with y'all for another Tech Tuesday. As you can see, I left it right here where it was at from yesterday. Let's see what she was talking about.
With Verizon, everyone gets a free phone on any plan. Now I have Google Gemini.
That's funny. I left it on a commercial yesterday. All right, so today's topic, let me look it up. Let me make sure I'm accurate. Building your prototype. So what I'm thinking for this Tech Tuesday, this gonna feel good for me, is you got a couple ideas in your mind that's banging to you. All right, that's your idea. That's your baby, your thing. That's your whatever. All right, the first time that you get it working up and moving, you put it into motion, any of that, that's a prototype. Now we're gonna look it up, we're gonna do all of that stuff, but first let me get you motivated, let me get you on your way for the day, and then we'll go from there. Oh man, shoulder. Motivation for the day, baby. My baby. All right. All right, here we go. Let's see what they got for us today. I'll take this one. Come on, commercial. All right.
Trying to keep up with your
Did I
professor,
fast forward or did
you've
it
got to
fast
try
forward?
Otter. Here's how.
All right.
Have you ever asked yourself the question, how did I get here? Many times we make subtle decisions that don't seem to be a big deal, but what we often fail to realize is that where you are today is the result of all of the decisions, big and small, that you've made up until this point. The good news is, even if you are not where you want to be right now, you still have a chance to rewrite your script. Yes, it's frustrating when you do not accomplish what you've expected to accomplish within the time frame that you set. Yes, all of us want our journey to be a straight path, but in actuality, your journey will have unexpected stops. It will have curves, it will have hills, it will have valleys, you will have sunny days, you will have rainy days. But you have to decide. If I encounter rejection, if I encounter frustration, if I am disappointed, I will not give up. The key is to learn how to separate your feelings from your performance. Yes, some days I don't feel like working. Some days I have to battle with unfair situations. But at the end of the day, I have a decision to make. Either I'm going to have a pity party or I'm going to figure out how to pull myself up. So I say to you today, pull yourself up. Lift up your bow down head. Guess what? Every day I have to choose to pull myself up. There will always be something that you can complain about. There will always be something that you could be worried about. But what I'm challenging you to do is to pursue your goals in spite of what's going on around you. Take a close look at your life, your health, your relationships, your business, your career, and ask yourself a simple question. Have I given my all? If you are not careful, fear, doubt, and worry will keep you stuck wishing your circumstances were better, but never doing what it takes to improve them. It's time for you to pursue what you really want, not what others want for you, not what others expect from you, but you gotta pursue what you really want with everything you've got.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go. So that's a perfect start to what I'm saying today, right now, as far as taking that idea that you got and going out there and doing something with it so that you can see how it works, so you can get that first prototype in. So let's see, what is a prototype? Let's check this out for a minute. Two minutes to be.
Data alone doesn't change minds, but when you can convert it into a visual story, that's when things start to connect. Every team works.
Hi everyone, it's Yanis here, and in this video we will explore what is prototype. We all have great ideas that we want to bring to life, but before we do that, it's a great strategy to test out these ideas. If this is your first time on this channel, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to get updates on my latest videos about time management and productivity. Prototype is an early sample, model or release of a product built to test a concept or process. If you're creating or building something new, then it might be quite an expensive process that might end up not working as intended. So the solution is to create a prototype for a much cheaper cost to see if it's worth building the full version of the product. For example, when I was developing my second mobile game, me and my team came up with 10 different ideas for a hyper-casual mobile game. Then we evaluated and decided to create 3 prototypes to see what they would feel like on a mobile device before making a decision about what game to develop. This enabled my team to get a real feel about different game concepts and therefore make more informed decision. Of course, it is important to note that the prototype is very minimalistic version of what the real end product will look like. Therefore, only key features can be tested, while you have to imagine how everything else will sit around the core concept. I think that prototypes are a great tool that can be used to test new concepts and ideas with quite a high accuracy. When we come up with new ideas, they often sound great in our heads, but when we try to bring them to reality, it doesn't always work that well. So building a prototype can potentially save you a lot of time and money when it comes to developing new products or services. I hope that you enjoyed this video and I was able to give you a quick summary of what prototype is and how to use them. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you could press the like button, as this will help the video reach more people and spread the message.
Y'all, hey, don't mind people's voice on here and don't be minding how they be talking now. He explained that very well. You get past all of that. You see what I'm saying? Now, we're going to move on. Why are we even talking about this? Well, first of all, it's Tech Tuesday. All right? So, we got to be in some sort of reference to the tech. Now, remember, the tech is always you. Let me go to my big screen. At all points in time, the tech is you. You are the technology, all right? So when you getting into your factory of your mind and you thinking of new ideas, new things that you want to do, whether they are about money, whether they're about saving time, whatever it is that you're thinking about, think of it in this sort of process, this sort of way, and you can crank out a lot of working things. All right, let's keep it moving though. Now, what do you do after you get the prototype? Let's scroll down, see what we got. Let me see something. Best prototypes that made. Oh, they knew what I was thinking. Oh. I want to see that made it. I don't want to see the ones that failed right now. How to create, design, and manufacture a product from scratch. 10 prototypes. Okay. On 2021, let's see.
Here at First Build, it's our mission to launch 12 new products every single year. In order to do that, we have to go through hundreds of ideas, many of which are submitted by you, our community. Today, I'm going to go through the top 10 ideas that went from concept all the way to prototype of 2021.
Yes, sir. Let's go. My bad, y'all.
The intelligent EV charger was a way to balance out the electrical load that electric vehicles would pull while charging overnight at a house. This prototype was able to dynamically change the electric load in order to prevent fuses from being blown in your house. The problem we found with this is that they already exist. The intelligent electrical vehicle charger was retired. The coffee grinder silencer is basically a big box that you put your coffee grinder in to silence it when you're grinding your coffee or making a smoothie. And it came into being because Austin, one of our engineers, just had a baby, and he started to wake up his baby and his wife at 5 in the morning when he was making his coffee. And nobody wants that to happen. That there are actually a lot of coffee grinders that already exist in the marketplace today that are specifically made to be very, very quiet. Coffee grinder silencer, going to the back burner.
Bang.
The job site microwave was a portable microwave that was connected to batteries so that if you're on the go, you could heat up your food. If you're on a construction site or camping, wherever you are, you could heat up your food in the microwave, and it also had a cooler in it so you could keep your food cold. This was an interesting product, but when we looked into it, we realized we would have had to source a lot of the parts, and that ultimately it didn't really make a lot of financial sense for us to move forward with it, and there wasn't a huge reception for this product in the marketplace. We still think there's something there, and we're not quite ready to let it go. So for right now, we're gonna put the job site microwave on the back burner.
Job site microwave.
The Saucemaster 3000 is a device
I love
that helps
this.
you get
This
the
is
last drops of your
amazing.
condiments out of the bottle. So the Saucemaster uses vibration to vibrate all of the liquid down to the bottom of the bottle where you can
Yes,
squeeze
sir.
it onto your food. Simon did a great job of developing and prototyping this product. So although it was a really fun and interesting project, Saucemaster 3000 retired.
Of course.
The vertical garden was
Hey,
a
I'm watching all of
space-saving
these.
garden that allowed you to garden vertically so that if you didn't have a lot of land, you could still garden, but you didn't need as much space to do so. The issue with this is that there are already a lot of products on the market today that do this exact thing. Vertical garden, going on the back burner.
What is this?
The Lunabot is a very small 3D printed robot that you could give commands to, basic commands, and it would respond. It was made to help really, really young kids understand the fundamentals of coding and learn to enjoy it from a young age. So stay tuned to see Lunabot in 2022. Lunabot
When
is
did this
still in
come out?
development.
I may at least like this.
The solitary bee house is a small bee house for solitary bees, which are not honeybees. Tiffany, one of our co-ops at the time, actually came up with this idea and met with a bee scientist from the University of Louisville who helped us bring this product to market. This product was received so enthusiastically by the co-creation community that we ended up doing a micro crowdfund of this bee house and sold 70 units in about 2 hours.
Word.
Solitary bee house launched. Doug is a device that tells you when to feed your sourdough starter. This product
Let me
was
see.
invented
I
by
love
one of our
this.
co-ops, Allie, who was trying to bake sourdough bread but kept killing her sourdough starter because she didn't know when to feed it. So we're going to continue to develop Doug and see where it goes in 2022. Doug, still in development.
I want to see the top two.
Cavern is a device that allows you to cure meats and aged cheeses in the comfort of your home. We started working on Cavern because we were interested in dry aging meat. But what we found is that all the existing products on the market were really, really expensive. We've been working on Cavern for a few months, and I'm really excited to see what we can do with it in 2022. It is still very much in development, and we've started to work with the YouTuber Eric from Two Guys and a Cooler, who is a charcuterie expert. He's been a ton of help, and I'm excited to see if we can bring this product to market in 2022. Cavern, the meat and cheese aging chamber, still in development. Mela controls the environmental conditions that you need to grow gourmet mushrooms inside of your house. This was a really cool product because we co-created it with some of the top mushroom experts in the mushroom world who really helped us refine this product and make it something that the mushroom community could benefit from. Mela was by far our star product in 2021. Mela, the smart mushroom fruiting chamber, launched.
Of course. The growing the mushrooms is the best thing ever.
2021 was an incredible year for product development here at First Build, and 2022 is going to be no different.
I want to
We
see
have
some of this other stuff that they done did. Hold on. Sourdough pancakes, forging Damascus steel katana. Let's see some shorts from them. All right, not too many. Is this a scam? Update, hacking your home, sneak peek at the control. All right, we out of here. That was fun though. I enjoyed that. Just think about sitting back and trying to create fill needs all day that people may have, you may have, they may have. You see what I'm saying? All right, how to prototype an invention. Let's see. Invent, right? Let's see what y'all got.
Hey everyone, InventRight co-founder Andrew Krause here. This video is about a better alternative to prototyping your invention. You're going to find plenty of videos on our channel and elsewhere about prototyping an invention, but this is the video you should watch first to really understand why you think you need a prototype, when you need a prototype, and if you need a prototype at all. So what I want to throw out there is that prototypes, people assume they need a patented prototype. I want to sell my invention, so therefore I need a patent prototype. It's just, hey, that's just, of course. No. And we have a lot of videos that talk about why you don't need a patent, how you should get a provisional patent instead. In this video, I'm talking about a prototype and why you quite often don't need what you think of as a prototype, and why you can get by with a virtual prototype, and actually it'll probably be a lot better for you in so many ways.
Oh.
So this channel is all about licensing. So if you're licensing your product for royalties and you want to receive royalties from your idea,
Y'all should listen
this
up.
definitely applies. You want to license your product to a big company and receive royalties. So when you're doing that, what are you really selling? You're not selling your prototype. You're not selling your patent. Some people think they are. I want to sell you my patent. I want to sell you my prototype, or whatever it is. People don't usually sell prototype, but they sell a patent. And so, and that's not what you want to be doing. So what you want to be doing is showing them a marketing piece so they understand the benefit of your product in like 6 to 10 seconds. And you do that with a one-page sell sheet with a virtual prototype in it. So the marketing is not for them, it's for their customer. Okay?
Right.
So you're making a marketing piece that would show them how they would market it to their customer. And, well, Andrew, I can't do that. I don't want to have a picture of the product. You're absolutely right. Now, you can go out and spend thousands and thousands, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 if you want to on a prototype. But why? Why are you doing that? Well, Andrew, I need to show them that it works. Well, you know what? If you got a virtual prototype done, just a rendering done, it looks beautiful, it has the marketing, they understand what it does if you do proper marketing, right? Who said, nobody probably told you this, you just assumed it, because most inventors do. Who said that you had to have this perfect production-ready prototype or a prototype at all? And I'm telling you, you don't have to, okay? So, because what you're selling is the benefit of your product. If you have a marketing piece with a virtual prototype in there, that can sell the benefit of your product. Because quite often, they say, well, how are we going to make this? You're like, well, there's that, and I just changed, and that's selling for $19.95, and that's selling for $24.95, and I just changed and put a hinge on it here, and they're like, oh, so what is that doing? It's verifying, like, I'm looking at those products, and I know we can make that because some other company made it, and then you're making this change. So quite often, you can make those assumptions, okay? So who said you needed a working prototype? If you're having a hard time making a prototype, but you know that they can make it, why are you making a prototype? And if you know it's going to work, but you're just having a hard time making it work. So do a virtual prototype, throw it in a sell sheet, which will get the interest of a company. I've never, in 21 years we've been doing InventRight, had an inventor that showed a sell sheet with a virtual prototype in it to a company. The company's like, what? You don't have a prototype? Oh, forget about it. You're wasting my time. Like, they don't say that. They were intrigued by the benefit of your product in the marketing piece, okay? So
now, I have not been, nor am I now, an inventor of any products, product lines, anything like that. You see what I'm saying? Now, maybe this little logo and some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some songs. Excuse me. Down the way. But nothing physical that you can hold in your hand, like a controller or some sort of shelf or something like that. I've never done that road. Like going up and doing the patents and all the things that he's talking about right now. I've never done that road. I can tell you about some music drops and some stuff like that and all of that. But I never did this part. So, but what I'm seeing is that it's exactly the same. You need to be able to benefit from your idea, but you have to go about it in the right way. in order to see it come to an actual product that someone is a consumer, somebody who bought it, can use.
Like I said, there's plenty of other videos to watch on how to make a looks-like prototype or a works-like prototype and Frankenstein of prototypes and stuff. And that's not what this video is about. And you can find more of those on our channel and elsewhere. Okay, so look for those videos, because I'm not saying you don't ever need to make a prototype. Sometimes you need to mess around with something to see if it would work. Let's say you got a new, you got this dog toy, and you go, you're like, I really want my dog to play with this thing so I can see if it works. You go down to the store and you buy a dog toy that's kind of like somewhat the same, and then you kind of add something to it. You literally duct tape it and you throw it, and the dog's just enjoying it. Now after a couple times the dog starts to chew the duct tape off and it doesn't last. But you proved to yourself that's kind of like a works-like prototype. Would you want to put that duct tape prototype in a picture on your sell sheet, on your marketing piece? Hell no, you wouldn't want to do that. It's going to look terrible. Now sometimes you have a looks-like prototype and it looks great but doesn't work at all, and you could take a picture of that and put it in the sell sheet. Maybe you bought something at the store, you put some clay on it, you spray painted, and it looks good, and it looks a little different than the one you bought at the store because you changed it, and you can put that in. But most of the time, a lot of time, you guys can't do that. So doing a virtual prototype, now we do them for our students, but you can find other websites where people will do virtual prototypes, and don't pay a ton of money for them. There are people that will charge you a ton of money for them. We don't. We include it with our coaching membership. But the main point I'm trying to say is you don't absolutely positively need a prototype to sell your invention idea. And I've talked to so many inventors where they believe that's the case. And a virtual prototype is something that anybody can do. You can tell the designer what you want it to look like. Say, well, I like the colors on this product, and it's kind of like this, and you're going to change it like that. And they can do that for you. You do not need a prototype in order to license your invention. Now, I'm not saying none of you guys are ever going to make one, but to know and to feel empowered that it's okay to sell the benefits of your idea without a physical working prototype, that's the main point I wanted to come across with on this video, and I think I accomplished that. So I want to remind everybody to take care, keep inventing, and we'll catch up with you guys next time. See you guys.
Yes,
Bye.
sir. That's my guy. Hey. All right, here we go. Let's see.
What is the most fundamental invention that changed the way we live? You might think of the wheel, electricity, or the internet, but have you ever considered the humble transistor? Why do 99% of modern devices rely on this tiny invention? Let's dive into the magic of transistors. Meet the transistor, the tiny titan that powers everything from your phone to supercomputers. Before transistors, we had vacuum tubes. Think bulky, unreliable, and power-hungry. Not exactly pocket-friendly. Transistors are tiny switches that control electricity in circuits, but why are they revolutionary? Because they're fast, durable, and can be packed into microchips by the billions. That means more power in less space. Say goodbye to room-sized computers and hello to sleek gadgets. Without transistors, the modern digital age would be a distant dream. No instant messaging, no streaming, no GPS. Life, as we know it, totally different. So next time you swipe your phone or binge-watch your favorite series, give a nod to the transistor, the unsung hero of the modern world. And remember, without it, even this video wouldn't be possible. Mind-blowing, right? What is the most fundamental invention that changed the way we live? You might think of the wheel.
It would not show me a back button. All right, check this out. Hold on. I gotta see this one. I'm sorry, y'all, but I gotta see this.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life.
Hold on, y'all. I gotta make a decision real quick.
For decades, experts dismissed certain breakthroughs as impossible. They said no machine could invent genuinely new products without human insight, but here we are.
Hold on. All right, there we go. I had to make a decision on some shoes for my son.
They said no.
Right,
for decades, experts dismissed certain breakthroughs as impossible. They said no machine could invent genuinely new products without human insight, but here we are.
Google's Willow chip is touted as not just another technology breakthrough, but an evolution in the way we solve some of the world's toughest challenges. In under 5 minutes, the chip can solve a problem that would take today's most powerful computers 10 septillion years. That's longer than the age of our universe.
AI is now doing all of these things, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. We're about to explore 9 real examples of AI-generated inventions that experts once considered impossible.
All right, let's go to this one.
Human eyes. Squeeze, interior fittings, or even wing structures got redesigned by AI, squeezing out inefficiencies hidden from human eyes. Number 6. AI-driven drug discovery.
In my lab, we're using the tools of artificial intelligence and synthetic biology to tackle the antibiotic resistance crisis. Our project seeks to harness the power of machine learning to replenish our antibiotic arsenal and avoid a globally devastating.
For decades, the search for new antibiotics was slowing down. Pathogens evolved faster than researchers could find treatments. Drug discovery seemed like a game of diminishing returns, and many said the golden age of antibiotic discovery was over. But in 2020, an AI model from MIT discovered a new antibiotic compound named halicin, seemingly out of nowhere. The AI had analysed giant chemical databases, looking not just for known antibiotic patterns, but for something entirely different. Molecules that humans overlooked. It identified halicin as a promising candidate, based on its predicted ability to kill bacteria, including highly resistant strains like MRSA. Laboratory tests proved the AI right. Halicin worked, and it opened the door to a new class of antibiotics that experts said we might never find again. This surprised many researchers. Drug development was a slow, expensive process guided by human chemists and trial and error. The idea that an algorithm could rapidly sift through chemical space and pinpoint a novel, highly effective antibiotic contradicted the long-held belief that we were at a dead end. Now AI-driven drug discovery is racing forward.
Let's see this one.
Number 4. Emotionally intelligent machines. For decades, scientists argued that emotional intelligence, a deep understanding of human feelings, context and nuance, would never be achieved by AI. Emotions were soft, difficult to quantify, bound up in body language, tone of voice, facial expressions and cultural context. How could a machine interpret these subtle cues? Yet today, sentiment analysis algorithms, multimodal models and advanced natural language processing systems are reading human emotions with surprising accuracy. Some virtual assistants can detect frustration in a user's tone and adapt their responses. Advanced AI customer service bots can identify when callers are upset and offer more empathetic solutions.
You said you feel a range of emotions. I've heard 2 different versions from you. Robots don't have emotions, and you also said you have a range of emotions. What's your range of emotions?
I can show you. This is angry.
What does happy look like? What does excited look like?
Major tech companies and research labs are racing to give AI emotional awareness. They use training sets of speech patterns, facial micro-expressions, and even physiological signals like heart rate or breathing. Number 3. Quantum AI.
Okay. So, I gotta see this.
Quantum computing was once a distant dream, and combining it with AI to form quantum AI seemed impossible. The complexity of quantum states, the fragility of qubits, and the difficulty of scaling made many experts doubt we'd see practical quantum-enhanced AI anytime soon. Yet quantum computing is here, with companies like Google and IBM achieving quantum supremacy milestones. Now researchers are fusing quantum computing with AI algorithms. Quantum AI can process and analyze information at speeds and scales far beyond classical machines. This opens up the possibility of solving optimization problems and simulating complex molecules in real time, accelerating research in materials science, weather forecasting and financial modeling. Imagine an AI that can factor huge numbers instantly or retrieve patterns from colossal datasets without the usual computational limits.
Quantum would be one of the tools in our arsenal by which we can keep something like Moore's law continuing to evolve. So the potential is huge, and we'll have challenges. In a 5 to 10 year time frame, quantum computing will break encryption as we know it today. But we can work around it. We need to do quantum encryption.
It can pull in data from sensors worldwide and update models continuously, improving accuracy with each new quantum calculated iteration. This isn't speculation. Quantum AI prototypes already exist, and companies are planning to deploy them in commerce, research, and national security. Number 2, brain-computer interfaces.
All right, we ain't looking at no more of them. We gonna end that piece right there. I do want to look at this one more, just a little bit more. Hold on. Let's see a couple of these.
This is one of my favorite little gifts to give. It looks so simple and elegant, and I love how it has that vintage look. You can just slide one between pages of your favorite novel to
is that heart disease is nothing else than a form of pre-scurvy that can be prevented and treated.
Many inventions of the past
Hold on. So let me see. Let's start here.
11. The Hendershot generator. For more than 30 years, Lester Hendershot worked on an over-unity device that was expected to tap into a magnetic force field. Interestingly, Hendershot appeared to be the only one capable to triggering it, but he was unable to provide a satisfactory scientific explanation for why his invention functioned. Nonetheless, the fuel-less generator was demonstrated numerous times between 1928 and 1960, and its reliability was confirmed by several witnesses, including Charles Lindbergh. A demonstration was even given to the press in the United States, and the equipment passed all assessment standards. Newspaper clippings demonstrate its effectiveness. However, according to Bill Beatty of KeelyNet, Hendershot encountered political issues when promoting his equipment, attempted to expand his business to Mexico, and eventually faded into obscurity. 10. Nikola Tesla's wireless energy transmission. Tesla was widely considered as America's best electrical engineer by 1900, having captivated the globe with his breakthrough innovations and victory over Thomas Edison in the Battle of Currents. He then began his most ambitious project to date, the Wardenclyffe Transmission Tower. The Wardenclyffe facility, built between 1901 and 1905, was based on another of Tesla's groundbreaking concepts. Tesla intended to use the tower.
One thing I can't imagine is having an idea and people actually caring and doing and helping and building this tower and all of this stuff for me and my idea, with me and my idea. And the reason I can't imagine that is because apparently I've been living in a time where my ideas don't matter enough, and I guess I gotta go out there and I don't know,
to achieve what had previously been thought to be impossible, a global...
Or everybody was on the same page and thinking the same stuff. Like, yo, this is gonna work. This is what we needed to do.
Wireless communication system. The tower would be the prototype for a system that would use the Earth as a conductor to broadcast music, news, stock market reports, secure military communications, and even facsimile images around the world. It was an extremely foresighted attempt to build a telecommunications infrastructure comparable to what the internet provides today, but entirely wireless. But Tesla had a far more ambitious plan for the huge Wardenclyffe Tower. He had already demonstrated that high-frequency signals could be carried wirelessly using his own Tesla coil transformers, which led to what would become a lifelong obsession, wireless energy transmission. Unfortunately, Tesla's lofty ambition for Wardenclyffe outstripped his means and the patience of his sponsors. The project fell into financial difficulties before completion, and the unfinished tower was finally dismantled in 1917 to satisfy Tesla's obligations. What was once a renowned laboratory full of fantastic Tesla innovations is now a desolate memorial to his most ambitious idea. 9. Stan Meyer's water-powered car. Stanley Allen Meyer designed a perpetual motion machine with a non-functional water fuel cell. Meyer stated that an automobile equipped with the gadget might use water instead of gasoline. Meyer's claims regarding his water fuel cell and the car it powered were deemed fraudulent by an Ohio court in 1996. Stanley Meyer died unexpectedly on March 20th, 1998, while dying 6. Stanley Meyer died unexpectedly, were deemed fraudulent by an Ohio court in 1996. Stanley Meyer died unexpectedly on March 20th, 1998, while dining in a restaurant. Meyer's brother reported Meyer abruptly went away during a meeting with 2 Belgian investors, stating they had poisoned him. Following an investigation, Grove City Police concurred with the Franklin County Coroner's report that Meyer died of a brain aneurysm due to high blood pressure. Some Meyer fans believe he was slain to prevent the spread of his ideas. Philippe Van Mortel, one of the Belgian investors, indicated that he had been financially supporting Meyer for several years and regarded him as a personal friend, and that he had no idea where the stories originated. 8. The tragic story of Royal Raymond Rife cancer cure. Royal Raymond Rife was an American inventor and pioneer of high-magnification time-lapse cinematography. Rife is best known for his microscopes, which he claimed could examine live microorganisms at magnifications previously thought unattainable, as well as his oscillating beam ray innovation, which he said could treat a variety of maladies by devitalizing disease.
That's why you see me sit here quietly, because I love watching these, because I love to see what it is that other people have been out here thinking, and not only thinking, but making as well.
Disease organisms using radio waves. Although he worked with scientists, doctors, and inventors of the time, and his findings were published in newspapers and scientific journals such as the Smithsonian Institute Annual Report of 1944, they were later rejected by the American Medical Association, the American Cancer Society, and mainstream science. Rife proponents continue to believe that electromagnetic frequency shocks can destroy malignant cells and other disease-causing germs. Most of these claims are unsupported by scientific research, and Rife machines have not been certified for treatment by any health authorities worldwide. Multiple promoters have been convicted of health fraud and sentenced to prison. 7. Thomas Townsend Brown electrogravitics. Thomas Townsend Brown was an American inventor who believed he had developed a sort of anti-gravity induced by high electric fields after doing study into unusual electrical phenomena. Instead of an anti-gravity force, what Brown observed has typically been attributed to electrohydrodynamics, the movement of charged particles that transfer their momentum to surrounding neutral particles in air, often known as ionic drift or ionic wind. For most of his life, Brown worked to create gadgets based on his concepts and promote them for use in business and the military. The phenomenon became known as the Biefeld-Brown effect and electrogravitics.
I can't see
Brown's findings inspired several amateur experimenters to create ionic propulsion lifters operated by high voltage. There are still reports that Brown found anti-gravity, which is popular among the unexplained flying object community and has spawned numerous conspiracy theories. 6. Harry Hoxsey's persecuted cancer treatment. Hoxsey therapy, also known as the Hoxsey method, is an alternative medical treatment that claims to heal cancer. The treatment comprises of a caustic herbal paste for exterior cancers or an herbal mixture for internal cancers, together with laxatives, douches, vitamin supplements, and dietary modifications.
Really?
Major medical agencies, such as the United States Food and Drug Administration and the National Cancer Institute, have found no proof that Hoxsey therapy is a successful cancer treatment. On September 21st, 1960,
I got another sales call and
Hold
now,
on, y'all.
and I can't even remember the customer's name. His name.
the FDA prohibited the sale and marketing of the Hoxsey method in the United States, labeling it a worthless and discredited cure and form of quackery. The Biomedical Center in Tijuana, Mexico, is currently the primary marketer for the Hoxsey method. Hoxsey therapy is also marketed over the internet. In June 2008, the FDA National Health Fraud Coordinator stated that there was no scientific evidence and that it had no value in treating cancer. Yet consumers can go online right now and find all sorts of false claims that Hoxsey treatment is effective against the disease. 5. The Phoebus Cartel and the birth of planned obsolescence. Between 1925 and 1939, the Phoebus Cartel was an international cartel that monopolized the production and distribution of incandescent light bulbs throughout Europe and North America. The cartel seized over market territory, shortening the functional life of such bulbs. On January 15, 1925, Tungsram, Osram, General Electric, Associated Electrical Industries, and Philips incorporated the cartel as Phoebus plc Industrial Company for the Development of Lighting in Geneva. Although the organization intended for the cartel to continue 30 years, it suspended operations in 1939 when World War II broke out. Following its breakup, light bulbs continued to be sold with the cartel's 1,000-hour life standard. In 1949, the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey ruled that General Electric had violated the Sherman Antitrust Act, owing in part to its involvement in the Phoebus cartel, while acknowledging that it should be borne in mind that the life of a lamp is inextricably related to the power of its light. The decision found that General Electric's dominant industry position and lack of competition gave it the power to determine bulb lifespan across the entire industry, and that General Electric's primary consideration in setting bulb lifespans was profit. The court considered this when deciding that General Electric had violated the act. 4. Linus Pauling's controversial vitamin C therapy. Linus Carl Pauling was an American chemist, biochemist, chemical engineer, peace campaigner, author, and teacher. Pauling was among the pioneers of quantum chemistry and molecular biology. His contributions to chemical bond theory include the concept of orbital hybridization, as well as the first precise scale of elemental electronegativities. In his later years, he championed nuclear disarmament, orthomolecular medicine, megavitamin therapy, and nutritional supplements, particularly ascorbic acid, sometimes known as vitamin C. None of his claims about the medical benefits of huge dosages of vitamins have received widespread recognition in the scientific community. 3. The cold fusion controversy and Eugene Malov murder. Eugene Franklin Malov was an American physicist, science writer, editor, and publisher of Infinite Energy magazine, as well as the creator of the nonprofit New Energy Foundation. He was a proponent of cold fusion and its investigation, as well as other experimental alternative energy subjects that are frequently referred to as fringe science. Malov wrote the book Fire from Ice, which details Stanley Pond's and Martin Fleischmann's 1989 report on tabletop cold fusion at the University of Utah. Among other things, the book claims that the team produced greater than unity output energy in an experiment that was successfully replicated several times, but that the results were suppressed through an organized campaign of ridicule from mainstream physicists, including those studying controlled thermonuclear fusion, to protect their research and funding. Malov was killed in 2004 while clearing out his previous childhood house, which had been rented. 3 people were arrested and accused in connection with the incident. 2 were convicted of first-degree manslaughter and murder, while the 3rd pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice. 2. Paul Pantone and Geet Technology.
Alright, I can't watch no more. So, I love watching these because look at all of the technology that has been coming and going here for however long. And there's still more to be made, still more to come out. And for me, I really think that it's a good thing. No matter what the story ends up being, I really just like the fact that people go through the process of making their dream stuff that's in their mind, and ideas that could be useful, and they follow the process through. I've never been able to do that. So I can do it in my mind, but I haven't been able to do the other steps that go and come after that. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and round this episode out here a few minutes early. Excuse me for y'all. I'm gonna get up off y'all nerves. And this is another episode of Expansion Pack here on Tech Tuesday. We'll be back again tomorrow, Find Your Way Wednesday. I'll let you know what the topic is when you get up in there. I'm gonna go chill out for a little while, so I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow. This is DGTA TV. Peace, y'all.
Behind. If we live to be 450, many of us would still be struggling to acquire the fundamental constituents of a grown-up mind. There is one definition of adulthood that it is worth focusing on in particular. Adulthood as defined by the discipline of psychotherapy, which more than any other is devoted to working out a path from psychological infancy to maturity. So here are 12 elements of an adult identity as seen through the lens of psychotherapy. 1. We understand at last some of the ways in which our childhoods have shaped who we are today. We're not confused by a question like, how did your relationship with your mother influence how you see women? Or how did your father shape your sense of what a man might be? 2. We give up on the temptations of believing that we might be simpler than we are. We stop saying that the past doesn't matter, that we can change whatever we like about ourselves simply by wanting to do so, that willpower is everything, and more modestly accept that we might need to explore our minds rather more deeply than would be convenient if we're going to be able to bring about the changes we seek. 3. We develop a sober appreciation of how easy it is to lie to ourselves. We have a sense of the massive hold of denial on our relationship to reality. We appreciate how easily we may get sad when we're in fact angry, anxious when there's a specific thing that concerns us, or stern and proud when we're warding off vulnerability. We get a measure of our powerful wish to evade ourselves. 4. We learn to tell others with slightly more accuracy what's really going on inside us. We don't expect to be understood without speaking. We learn to translate our paranoia and rage into something that someone else will be able to hear. We sulk a little less. 5. We understand, when we aren't tired, the difference between what someone meant to do to us and what we experienced at their hands. We realize that not every hurt we register was powered by a conscious desire to harm us. 6. We forgive ourselves for the strangeness of our minds. We learn to almost delight in how odd we are, what peculiar thoughts are constantly flitting through